let's take a look at something pointless yet interesting. The Treasure of Sierra Madre versus Raiders of the Lost Ark. Everything has an opposite, even films. And when it comes to the adventure subgenre, the treasure hunt, and when we look back in history, Raiders of the Lost Ark was, of course, the anti-Treasure of Sierra Madre, and vice versa. The scripts are carved into the minds of moviegoers, and for good reason. It's like fantasy versus reality, grit and fluff. They're at each end of the spectrum. And how is that? Well, let's look at it like this. Raiders, despite being in color, is more black and white. All of the roles of the characters perfectly clear, heroes versus villains, while Sierra is more grey and focuses more on moralities. Things aren't quite clear at first. Indy, the hero, Dobbs, the anti-hero, and what they're both doing it for. Dobbs is very much doing it for himself, finding his fortune in the harsh environment. He's basically a drifter, while Indy is a well-respected archaeologist who knows his place in life and can clearly see the bigger picture, which is his ambition to try and find what he wants to find. In fact, his lust for discovery is what creates the adventure that triggers him to go almost around the world, unlike Dobbs' posse that only travels miles to their destination, and it takes an old prospector to put him on that right path. Also, one of them has a love interest, the other doesn't. The treasures that they seek is no way apples and oranges. It's one of the grand prizes of history, and the other is a popular resource. The gold changes Dobbs, and the Ark changes the world. Well, not completely. I'll get into that. Again, both movies differ on the progression. Sierra on time, Raiders on space. Even the bad guys are at odds with each other. The Nazis seem fearsome, while the bandits seem comical. And the means of fighting them, from Saturday matinee style to every man for himself combat. And eventually it does create a paradox, as the bandits become more of a threat, and the Nazis become easy victims to God's wrath. And at the end, what does it all add up to? Apart from a climactic and anticlimactic ending. This is where both movies kind of cross paths. It doesn't lead to any major change of the world. Apart, of course, the Ark eradicating a small amount of the Third Reich, and the gold going back to where it belongs. The Ark becomes a collection of the stuff hidden from humanity. I guess it's always nice to get the girl at the end. While Dobbs meets his end with a Mexican with a machete. They teach us about greed and messing with God. This video is in no way trying to tell you which one is better, but of course just to see how different they are, and at the same time very similar. And how a genre can push the boundaries. I like to say there's treasure hunt movies like Raiders and Sierra, but since the 1940s, there's been no movie that captures the original essence of the classic John Huston movie. So here's looking out for one.